Welcome in to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, I mean always, he means always, they mean always, you mean always, she means always, an instant classic.
Danny Dunn! Hi, Jake.
We'll see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
Okay, what is going on, everybody? And welcome back to another edition of Juggernaut Retro Reviews. And I am continuing with my Wrestlemania Retro Reviews, and this Wrestlemania that I will be reviewing is Wrestlemania 8. And this was held on April 5th, 1992 from Indianapolis, Indiana at the Hoosier Dome, which I thought this stadium looked really good. It was like in a really big stadium here. I like the setup that they did for this show. And on this card, like the card looked really good on paper, but in reality, the second half of the show was not very good at all. I was not a big fan of the second half of the show. But you had some, like I felt like this pay-per-view could have been really good. But we'll talk about why I didn't really like the second half. So let's quit wasting time. Let's get started with this review. So the first match that kicked off the show was Shawn Michaels going up against Tito Santana. And this was Shawn Michaels' first, singles match in WrestleMania history. And in the corner of Shawn Michaels, it was Sensational Sherry. Shawn Michaels was very cocky here. He's wearing, very flamboyant attire. And this was kind of his breakout time here, showing what he could do as a singles competitor at WrestleMania. And he beat Tito Santana here. And then, of course, the following year, he would also be an opener for WrestleMania. So he and then the year before that, he was a part of the Rockers. So he did the three opening matches. So for WrestleMania 7, 8, and 9, he opened up these three WrestleManias. And of course, at WrestleMania 10, he was a part of that amazing ladder match between Razor and Ramon, which rest in peace, Razor. Rest in peace to the bad guy. But no, this was a pretty decent opener. Really saw what Shawn Michaels could do here. Tito Santana wasn't bad. I thought it was a decent opener. And then the next match we had was The Undertaker going up against Jake the Snake Roberts. And of course, Undertaker would he would become 2-0 at this WrestleMania here, which I thought this was a pretty good opponent for Taker, with these early WrestleManias. Because in WrestleMania 7, it was against Jimmy Snuka, which was a really short match, which this match was also short. Like, his early Mania matches weren't the greatest, but I feel like Jake the Snake Roberts was a really good opponent for him. And I like the build to this, them, at a, there was a casket, and Undertaker guy's hand caught in the casket, which, just think of a time, your hand getting, jammed in a door or, jammed in something. That's what it feels like to be probably a casket landing on your hand. And, he was, really selling that. He couldn't get his hand out. But like I said, Undertaker, he would end up becoming 2-0 at this WrestleMania here. It was a very short match. He made quick work of Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, Jake, he hit the DDT. And then Undertaker, he rose up really quick and everybody popped for that. And I liked the tombstone on the outside of the ring. That was nice during the match. And then rolled Jake the Snake Roberts back in to get the 1, 2, 3. And still undefeated at WrestleMania was The Undertaker. And like I said, at this time, they weren't really going hey, we should keep this man undefeated. It was going to need to lose to a big opponent. Which, not saying that Jake the Snake Roberts isn't a big opponent, but Undertaker's just he's immortal, he's this phenom, which is once in a lifetime character, you won't get another Undertaker. It's rare. So, I mean, even though it was a short match, it was nice to see Taker here again and see his entrance coming down to the ring, all the kids being scared. It was cool. It was really cool. And then the next match we have is this was possibly my favorite match of the night. We had the WWF Intercontinental Championship on the line. We had Bret Hart going up against the champion Rowdy Roddy Piper. This was good stuff here. I really enjoyed this. Very good wrestling between both guys. We even had some blood from Bret Hart in this match. Yeah, we had some. He was bleeding through his nose, like he was bleeding the hard way. You know, he was bleeding during this match. You know, it's unfortunate that Roddy Piper, you know, he never really got like a bigger like. I mean, he had IC title reigns and stuff, but it's unfortunate that he never held the WWF Championship. Like, because he's in my opinion, I think he's a very underrated wrestler. And this is one of the matches that he lost at Mania. Like, it was a long time before he lost at a Mania. Like, since, like, WrestleMania 2, I think? Yeah. Then he went on this, like, really hot streak at Mania. So, this is his first loss since, like, Mania 2 for Roddy Piper. But I like the ending of the match when Bret Hart counters sleeper hold into a pinning predicament to get to 1, 2, 3, because it still makes Roddy Piper look strong. And that pre-match promo was nice between both Roddy Piper and Bret Hart, because these guys are both great on the microphone, especially Roddy Piper. His promos are golden. But this was, yeah, like I said, this was probably my favorite match. You know, very good match. You know, very hard hitting. Very technical. Great match here. And then next, we kind of go to a cool down match here. We got a big 8-man tag match. Big Boss Man, Virgil, Sergeant Slaughter, Jim Duggan going up against the Nasty Boys, Repo Man, and the Mountie. Which, the Repo Man and the Mountie, you know, those are kind of like really characters I didn't really care about. And sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background. But these are characters I don't really care about at all. This is a really short match. I really wasn't paying attention to this match very much. But Big Boss Man, Virgil, Sergeant Slaughter, and Jim Duggan did end up winning this match. Like I said, this was kind of a cool down match. But I didn't mind seeing the Nasty Boys and like... Yeah, I didn't mind seeing everybody else. But like the Repo Man, terrible gimmick. The Mountie, he had a terrible gimmick going on, you know, like these very cartoonish characters and stuff. But yeah, that's what this time of wrestling was. Like a lot of cartoony characters. And then the next match we had was the WWF Championship match, which, you know, I'm surprised that this wasn't. Actually, I'm not really surprised this wasn't the main event, because, you know, Hulk Hogan, you know, with the backstage politics he had, you know, he can get that main event spot without even holding the title. But I think this is like one of the, like on a rare occasion that the WWF Championship at this time wasn't in the main event. But we had Randy Savage going up against the WWF Champion Ric Flair. And in the corner of Randy Savage was Miss Elizabeth, and then the corner of Ric Flair was Mr. Perfect. This was another great match. I enjoyed it. I love the promo I love the promo for Ric Flair. You know, he another great guy on the mic. You know, anything he says on the mic is golden. Especially the aftermatch promos that they had. You know, he had quite a bit of promos, like, or post-match interviews and stuff. But this was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. You know, you had a lot of technical work between Ric Flair. You know, he's working on the back. You know, working on the back of Randy Savage, and working on the leg of Savage, you know, to get ready for the figure four. Randy Savage would, you know, escape the figure four during this match. He didn't tap out to that. Mr. Perfect even got involved in the match. We saw Miss Elizabeth even get involved, trying to get involved, you know, help out Savage here. But in the end, Savage did end up rolling up Ric Flair to become the new WWF champion. And then, yeah, post-match here, you know, Ric Flair, he was pissed. So he decided to go lay a kiss on Miss Elizabeth, because he's saying that he was going to steal Miss Elizabeth away from Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, excuse me. And Ric Flair, you know, he was busted open a lot during his match, and he was really selling a lot. I like when he does that flop during the match. Like, he does a flop on the outside of the ring. Classic Ric Flair there. I feel like both these guys are kind of like underrated workers, like, for WrestleMania. Because Savage, he has had some like really great moments in Mania history. Like, one of my favorite matches was between Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage. That was a great one. Of course, this one here between Savage and Flair. Even the one against the one against Hogan was good. And then Ricky Dragon Steamboat was another good one. So that was at Mania 3. The Ricky Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man. That one's a really good one. But yeah, I feel like Macho Man is like a name that really doesn't get brought up a lot. Like, who's the great Mr. WrestleManias? And like I said, Randy Savage needs to be brought up in that conversation more because he's a great worker, great character, very flamboyant, and it was a good match. And I like the post match interviews between both guys. So yeah, it was good stuff here. Really good promos and great match. Actually, no, I think I think the IC title match was a little better. I enjoyed that match more. But then, now we move on to Tatanka versus Rick Martel. Tatanka won in like a pointless match. And, like I said, a lot during this time, like WrestleMania like 1 through 10, or these like early Manias. Some of these matches, you had like a lot of squash matches on here that didn't really have any substance towards like any storyline build or anything. They were just on here just to have them on here with no build at all. But yeah, Tatanka beat Rick Martel. Nothing special. And then next we had was a WWF Tag Team Championship match. The Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon, going up against Money Inc., Ted DiBiase, and IRS. Erwin Rinschweich. I never pronounce his name right. Going up against Money Inc. And then in the corner of Money Inc. was Jimmy Hart. This wasn't one of your better WrestleMania Tag Team matches I've seen on past Manias, because like Mania 7, that had some really good tag team matches on there, but this was not that good. I mean, two big guys like Earthquake and Typhoon wasn't very good, and yeah, this wasn't a very good match. I mean, the Natural Disasters did win, but they won by count out, so the titles did not change hands. They stayed with Ted DiBiase and IRS. Because, they said, yeah, we're not dealing with this anymore. So they decided to book it out of there. So, yeah, nothing else to say about this match. No build to this match at all. But, yeah, one of your weaker tag team matches at WrestleMania. And then we had Owen Hart going up against Sinker. Really quick squash match. It was cool seeing Owen Hart on here. He won by the Okada roll. Get the 1, 2, 3 is like a minute 36-second match. Nothing special. Basically like a cool down match, to get everybody ready for the main event between Sid Justice and Hulk Hogan. Which I don't really want to talk about this match very much between Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice, because I feel like the WWF Championship match should have been the main event, and this should have been in the middle of the card. Because, I mean, like I said, Hulk Hogan, he had his backstage politics, he was always able to be in the main event no matter, if he didn't have title or he didn't have title. Because he was Vince's golden boy. The backstage politics even still happens to this day, with certain wrestlers. But Hogan won, it was by disqualification. I don't really recommend watching this match. Very sloppy match. And of course, Sid Justice, he would eventually become Psycho Sid. And this was Hogan's last Mania match here. Yeah, I just really wasn't a big fan of this match at all. I think, yeah, if you're going to watch anything else on this show, like skip, if this is a thing to skip the main event. Because the main event is pointless. It was a terrible match. I hate when like the main event ends by like a DQ or like a count out or something cheap. But of course, they wanted to make Hogan still look strong, and they also didn't want to make Sid Justice look weak, so that's what they did. They decided to do that. But yeah, that was my WrestleMania 8 review. I try to do this really quick here. I'm going to probably be doing one more WrestleMania retro review, which will be WrestleMania 18, since it's the 20th anniversary of that pay-per-view. I'm going to do that retro review tomorrow. It's going to be uploaded on Friday, which this main review will be uploaded tonight on Thursday. So be watching out for the Mania 18 review tomorrow. And also, if this is your first time checking out my channel, smash that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at TheTrueJSB. Follow me on Instagram, TheTrueJSB. Hit that subscribe button on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. And also, go subscribe to the T.A.G. Podcast. And this is your boy Juggernaut saying peace out. And I'll see you guys when I see you on the next one.